During times of war, one of the most important things a country needs is unity. The video, The Song of Freedom at the Estonian Song and Dance Festival, provided by the AP Stimulus, shows how the nation of Estonia dealt with the Soviets' oppression by coming together to sing. In the video, Roman Tori, an Estonian conductor and composer, notes that the song festival has been a beautiful way to express, "Please, dear Lord, help us to keep our country and our language." This example of unity between the people has helped to maintain Estonian national identity and also eventually helped to gain their freedom. However, not only is unity important during times of war, unity is also important during the rebuilding stage of the country. Good afternoon, my name is Abigail Shim, and my topic is on the impacts of a collectivist culture on rebuilding society. My research question is, to what extent has a collectivist culture positively impacted the rebuilding of South Korean society after the Korean War? My argument is that a collectivist culture has positively impacted the rebuilding of South Korean society after the Korean War, which is seen through new work culture, the economy, infrastructure, and education. Before we can see how a collectivist culture has positively impacted the rebuilding of South Korean society, we must examine what a collectivist culture is. According to Hofstede Insights, which has conducted one of the world's most comprehensive studies on national values, defining a collectivist culture has to do with the degree of interdependence a society maintains among its members. It has to do with whether people's self-image is defined in terms of I or we. A collectivist culture will have people defining themselves as using the word we, which shows a close connection between people within the society. One of the ideas of a collectivist society is that the actions that are done must be done for the betterment of society. By having a collectivist culture, this helped to bring people together as they shared similar mindsets. One of the cultures that a collectivist culture has helped to establish is the do-it-quick work culture. Kushi Sharma, an editor for a website with the intent to explain Korea honestly and also lives in Korea, states, to cope with the situation and war damages, the government encouraged its people to move more quickly in order to recover from the situation and the war effects to rebuild the nation's economy and the society. In other words, this work culture, which has stemmed from having a collectivist mindset, impacted the rebuilding of society in South Korea as people collectively believed that they must work together quickly in order for the society to regain its place. The rebuilding of infrastructure most obviously shows a huge impact of collectivist culture on rebuilding society. If you look at these two photos, in just 10 years, South Korea was able to transform from a wrecked city after war to being a major city, which is Seoul, the capital. This fast increase in infrastructure stabilized the economy, which can be seen in this graph by Macro Trends, a website that shows financial data from the World Bank site. As you see, the GDP shows a great upwards trend starting from around the 1980s. However, this is not all. South Korea's economy has grown significantly compared to the norm. Kushi Sharma explains that Korea's GDP expanded more than 1,200 times from $1.3 billion to $16.3 billion in 2020, making it the world's 10th largest economy. While the economy of war-ravaged countries tend to take 22 years on average for them to recover or revert back to pre-war income levels, according to Inc. Hoffler, a research affiliate at the International Security and Development Center. Keep in mind that before the Korean War, Korea was under Japanese oppression for around 35 years, and had not had the chance to recover since then. So this improvement shows a great improvement. A collectivist culture has also impacted the rebuilding of society through education. Again, a collectivist idea is having the society have their actions towards making a better society. So according to this table, the Ministry of Education in Korea, it shows that Korea has consistently achieved like in the top 10 rankings for reading, mathematics, and science from 2003, 2006, 2009, 2012. And according to them, they highlight that the education fever was one of the reasons why South Korea was able to overcome the effects of war, creating the Han River Miracle, which was the time period where there was a rapid economic growth following the Korean War. This high educational achievements impacts the society in a positive way, as it can be linked to more students looking for more jobs. A collectivist culture can bring unity because this type of culture shares the burden of one person with the whole group. It can also bring safety to the country because everyone looks after each other. For example, in macro trends, South Korea has a very low crime rate of 0.60 per 100,000 citizens compared to the US, which is an individualistic society that has a crime rate of 4.96 per 100,000 citizens. A drawback, however, is that since South Korea is a collectivist society, everyone is similar to one another, and it can lead to less diversity and less uniqueness. To conclude, South Korean society is positively impacted by collectivist cultures, as through this culture, a new work culture has been created, which then impacts faster development in infrastructure. Education has also been impacted by collectivist cultures, and the high achievements in education, along with the faster development in infrastructure, both help to reach a stable economy, which reflects a stable society. This is my works cited page. And thank you. Any questions?
I do have 2 questions for you. First question, what evidence did you gather that you didn't use, and then why did you choose not to use it?
I gathered information about the industrialization process in South Korea. However, I didn't think I needed to add this information into the presentation because I feel that the other 4 factors were sufficient to prove that a collectivist culture has positively impacted South Korea's rebuilding stage.
Okay. And if you had more time, nope, sorry, wrong question. What advice would you have for other researchers who consider this topic in the future?
Since this topic is based on South Korea, there's not much information that you can find in English. So I'd say that you should try asking around for people who know the Korean language so you can find more information from their data.